All right, here we go. Harry, you want to peel your mask off and just lead us in a word of prayer right quick, please? I'd appreciate that.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day and the blessing you give us. Be with us tonight, Lord, as we conduct the business this evening. Look to you for our strength and our guidance. Lord, we lift up all of our first responders, our police, our fire, and Lord, our doctors, our nurses. We're going through some trying times right now. We believe our nations, our states, and the cities. If we're looking to you for our direction, we just love you and thank you for any blessings you give us. Continue to keep us safe and keep us far sins. Thank you for it. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you much. All right, I'm going to enlist everybody in here's help, and whoever might be, the one or two people out there that might be listening to this. It occurs to me, I had a call from Rankin County News talking to Marcus today, and perhaps it's how I say things, so I'm partially responsible for the problem, his understanding. So people think we're cutting the budget because of COVID and loss of revenue and all this kind of stuff. And I find myself going, well, that's not what we're doing. We're managing department request. We're cutting request to make it fit in our budget for next year. So we're not cutting the budget. Does that make sense? We're not cutting this year's budget that we're in, and we're not cutting next year's budget. We've got X number of dollars, and we've got a lot more requests than we got dollars for. So we're trying to make the request fit the dollars to establish a budget. So I had to spend 5 minutes talking through that with Marcus, and I still don't think I communicated it well. So I'm going to ask everybody in here as you go through, it's a simple understanding, really. We're trying to establish a budget for the next FY, which is FY 21. It begins October 1. So we're not cutting a budget, we're cutting requests to make it fit in the budget that the board will approve and later this month. So board will finish up tonight. We've got admin and executive, which is you, and Parks and Rec, let's see, amphitheater and event services and seniors. Kind of wraps it all up. So it should be a relatively short night, but this is also an opportunity, since we don't have a Rainy here, for you that don't get a lot of time to interact with all these good people that you should know in some regard. They can put a sentence together and they can talk, whether they like to or not. So if you got a question for them when they come up, please hit them. I'm going to be sitting over there, and then I'll finish up at the end. So you good folks got any questions tonight? What was that? Inhaled a piece of lint or something, did you? Okay, that's good. See, got to be quick around here. That's right. Dwight, there's a chair down here if you want to come down here.
One more time, I will.
There we go. All right, so who would like to go first tonight? Come on, Miss Angela. Come on. Miss Angela Pryor is going to go first, Senior Services, and I've tried to clear this up again today on the phone because it came out of his mouth that we were closing down Senior Services because we're cutting the budget. And I'm going, no, Marcus, we're not. That's not what we're doing. We put it on pause to get through Labor Day to see about mask and exposure and where we were. So it's not any more complicated than that. So you can help me. All of y'all can help in that regard as well, please. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you're going to talk with that on while you're standing there, it's going to be fine. You can talk to it. Just slow down and enunciate it. And granted, you can say.
Yes, we, I think, made a joint decision more on safety than anything budget related as to why our senior center is on pause. So if anybody has any questions like that, they can certainly call me up and we can talk about it. So my budget for this year, this fiscal year 2021, has a very substantial change of $75 in postage because I'm doing a lot of outreach and a lot of mailing and a lot of little cards and stuff. So that's all I have. Do y'all have any questions? That's it for me. Any questions?
Will $75 cover your postage?
Probably not. No. I have. Yes, it'll take care of of what I anticipate needing. I have a senior that donates stamps also, so what she does not donate, I cover. So it's a charitable little organization, a care commission, and they all kind of chip in and do their little part. So. All right. Is that it?
Appreciate you sticking around.
All right.
for a while. Eric?
Hello. First off, any questions? Over any of the budget, there are some increases.
Conference center?
I'm the conference center. If we go to our events, my main thing there, I do have something I want to add to it. When this was first submitted, a fall festival was not in the works. We've kind of started working on a fall festival at the end of October. I've put some numbers together, and it looks like I'm adding about $9,900 to my budget on that. But that also does not include any of the sponsorships, any revenue from entry fees that I would count. So that would help offset that. There's 9 out of 15 events that we have listed that bring revenue back in to help offset that cost. So I'm not for sure how they see that.
Can you list out for us the events you have?
Bring revenue?
There's
Oh.
in front of you. Look
On-
at your monitor.
Like I said, the only thing that is not on there is that fall festival. And we did add, as you see in the yellow, the Crudaroo Ball. We thought that would be a really nice addition to that whole weekend there.
And although you're adding, you're requesting $10,000 for that, I'm sure you anticipate recouping a lot of that.
Yes, sir, yes. We're going to ask for sponsorships, and then what we have planned for it, for the fall festival, is a car show, a cornhole tournament, a 5K, a chili cook-off. Those are the things that would create revenue, plus our sponsors. And then we will also be doing, hopefully having live music, petting zoo for the kids, pumpkins and hay bales. I always say that wrong, they correct me. And then just some miscellaneous of like wooden games and picture moments. So asking the Garden Club ladies to help create a picture moment for families to come and take pictures, things like that.
So where's the revenue?
The revenue will be coming from the car show, cornhole tournament, 5K, and the chili cook-off. I don't know, where does that show?
You didn't give me any.
Oh, I can get that to her, I'm sorry. I'll get that to Liz and do that.
So this 57,580, what is that difference from last year?
It was 21.6 last year.
Now, last year, the ball and the festival were not in last year's budget.
But we really don't know bottom line until we see the revenue.
Yeah, not having either one before, I could be guessing at the revenue. I mean, see, that's what I feel like too, with the ticket cost and all that. And that's the goal, is to at least break even or, definitely bring more in. The first one, we had about 240 show up, which I thought was, fairly good for that. This past Friday, we had a cancellation because of the lightning. We are hosting that this coming Friday. And ticket sales, I'm going to say, was around 150 last Friday. So we're hoping, this week at least sells more. And this, to put a show on is roughly between $800 and $1,000. So.
Anything else? If that's it.
And I'll get that revenue estimated for you. Thank you.
Good evening, how are y'all? This is the park side. Take this thing off. Whew. All right. So we were at 2.4 last year. We're asking for 1.7. Most of those cuts was the bike trail, I'm pretty sure, that we got out of there. Then we were going to ask for splash pad repairs at 125. We took that out of there, so that's a good chunk out of it. Let's see. Get to on 550. There's Christmas lights. Sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
All right. Pretty much what we're adding here is the Christmas lights. We added a few downtown last year. I don't know if y'all noticed, but we were at like 50,000 last year, and 550 just asked for an increase of 20 in there. So there is a few other things that we wanted to try out: badminton, field day stuff. Let's see, ladder ball, horseshoes, cornhole, just to try to get something for the community. So that's 550. Any questions there?
Go ahead.
Okay. Then we have 604. We want to add the downtown bed maintenance. It'd be a few times a month during the summertime, just to give us a little bit of help to get through the summer months. It gets kind of hectic, and having help to be able to take care of weeds, take care of the plants, trimming and all that, that's what that would go into. And the right-of-ways and all that, hopefully y'all have seen a difference this past year. We've stayed on top of it. Cemeteries, I think we may have gotten one call this year compared to the past couple of years. We would get 5 or 6 calls a year. So that has gotten a lot better. So that is on 604. Any questions?
What's the quantity represent?
Sir?
The quantity between on the first column. What does that quantity represent?
Oh, that's 20 cuttings. Yes, sir. All right. Then on 637, what we're adding here is old tennis court light repair. Pretty much going to bring in a new module to put in, use it on your phone. We'll have to run a line from the library to the new box. That'll be added, that's $5,000. That's the only thing added there. Let's see. All right, 720, the fund list. All right. As you can see, some of those items, projects have been done, so we've crossed them out. The 4 and 5 ball irrigation, we cut that in half. We're going to do that in-house. Pretty much new valves, new control boxes, new wires. Pretty much each complex is going to cost $10,000 to $12,000. So hopefully we can get some of that done. So then you have 4 and 5 ball security lights. Right now they're on a ballast and these lights are outdated. So these will be LED lights. Will be no more ballast put in. So then we have the batting cages at the quarry. We had a softball tournament, the JUCO Softball Classic. It was about 7:30 at night, pitch black. The girls are out there trying to hit. That is definitely for safety reasons that we hope to get that done. Then the playground shade structure is for the old soccer playground. That playground right there is used probably, not going to say as much as City Park, but it's up there. Then the quarry temp fencing. Currently we have 2. I'm requesting to get 4 of them. That's going to cover them. Then resurfacing the tennis court, the old tennis courts. And then soccer field drainage. We've talked about adding drainage pipe into there. There's other options that we're looking into. I've talked to Mississippi State, Brandon Harden, sports turf guy there. He's done a couple of fields just for cost effective. If you do drainage pipe, you're only gonna be able to do probably 2 or 3 fields. With adding sand, you create a subgrade. That's 8 to 10 trucks per field, and we can do all that for $40,000. It's going to help out with drainage. It's going to help out with footing. Soccer likes to get out there in February, early. It's going to help them get out there a little bit earlier, drier surface, and we possibly could have a spring tournament. So, and that has been in the talks. Sorry, I missed that one. Yes, it's going to bring probably about 1 inch overlay, 1.5 inch overlay, just come in and mill all that down. I would like to take out some of the area because we have irrigation under there. The irrigation is under the asphalt. So when we have to do repairs, we're taking up asphalt. So if we do the overland, that's when I would like to do irrigation. Because I would take the irrigation, move it around to where it's in the grass areas for an easier repair if that does happen.
Mayor, this may be a question for you as well as their team, but are we going to put anything into Bill Vance this year? It's something that I've been requesting a couple of years in a row. Bill Vance is deteriorating and needs some attention. And I know that Charles said he was going to do some stuff to the walking track out there just to shore up some of the deficiencies that are actually health risks, like broken ankles and such, but that's not really long-term, I don't think. And so I think that, I mean, I know we're trying to make all of our requests fit into the budget, but that's something that we really, really need to analyze that park and its needs and kind of do some things out there.
We are in the process of, that's fine. We are in the process. Talk to Charles, talk to Randy, the superintendent of public works. We are going to work on getting those bad areas. I've talked to them multiple times about helping us out, so they are going to take care of those deteriorating areas you're talking about. So, yeah, we're definitely on top of it. So, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Any question on 720? Me. be. Then on 850 should be the last one. This is to continue the lease for the reel mowers, drag, sprayer. We have some carts on the lease. It ends in March. We would like to renew that. Just, I mean, having the reel mowers and the sprayers just takes the fields to another level. So we've, I mean,
You keep those same machines, or do they bring new machines?
it's gonna be new machines. I would like to change it up. It's all on a fair market value right now. I would like to do a dollar buyout on the carts because the carts will last a while, even the sprayer. We use a sprayer probably 15 times a year. So that would be included in that lease. But the reel mowers and drags, since they're used in 3 years, the hours we put on them is probably almost 400 hours right now. So they will be brand new mowers when we get them. That's it. You gonna do that? It is, I'll stay up here. That's better than me.
Good evening. I don't know if there are just a whole lot of increases for the amphitheater. I know we're looking to do some improvement to the smoking area, maybe extending it. And tends to be a very busy place on a show night. I did, when we were looking through this, notice that there is, Liz, that $77,000 for justice is listed under both professional services as well as contract labor.
One is for security and one's the ushers.
And one's the usher? Okay. All right. Just want to make sure that that was with it being the same number.
That's where it's been.
I know this year has been kind of, we don't have a whole lot to go off of with no income and not a lot of expenses without any shows. And I know we're hoping to swap all that up next year and get back moving. Do y'all have any questions on any of that? I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Which one's starting? Which one are you starting? Yeah, please don't. Yeah. We reviewed already. We're good.
Pardon?
We reviewed already. We're
I
good.
know, right? First budget is general government. The requests are $160,747 more than last year. Basically, I can sum that up. We are in need of a roof repair. Jody has talked to a couple different contractors, and we are thinking of repairing the roof over 3 years, starting on the west side of the building. So it'll be a little challenging writing the specs for that bid, but so that's $150,000 that we're proposing to budget this year for the third of the roof. I put in the budget also a consideration to go paperless for the agenda. It's $8,000 approximately for the software, iPads, $6,000, and then the annual service for the iPads would be $3,800. Pardon? Of the iPads?
All of it.
Of the request?
No,
Let's see, 6, 3, 5, 98. Mm-hmm. Yep. There is an annual fee for the software. It does drop a little bit, but it's approximately, the couple companies I've talked to, it's around 65 to 7,000 a year to renew. Paper?
yeah.
I did look at that. Of course, the largest cost is the copy machine. I think if we look at rentals, I think that's about, that copier over here is about $3,000 more budgeted. So you've got about $4,000, and that's just in copying the copies and the paper.
Yeah.
And you've got the delivery personnel. The only other big difference is the personnel cost decreased, but that cost was moved to contractual services for TechSource. And that's basically it. Any questions about general government? And I did put together an elections budget for next year, and it is in line with what we did 4 years ago. So nothing significant, no changes. Mail-in balance. If the qualifying will start in January, the primary will be in May, and if we need a general election, it will be in June. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming tonight. Always good to see a face to a name. So, two positions we've got that are now open are IT and, of course, Ramey's position. And the way I stand right now, I'd rather keep the money in the general fund. We've got Jeff as part-time from 8 to noon, and we've got TechSource. So I think we're well covered, well placed. They've helped Shelley a lot. Just to give you an example of this, getting set up in here. So they're a phone call away. So I think we're good there. I think they'll be a perfect asset if we build a police station and build that IT center in the middle of that. That'll be a positive. So I'd rather keep that money in the general fund right now rather than hire somebody. Ramey's position, you're just not going to find another Ramey. It's got all the assets that you would need. And quite frankly, I've said this to a couple of you already, and I've said this to these good folks as well. You know, you've got a city election coming up next year, and I can't see spending a lot of time finding somebody to try to fill a role with no assurances of who this board's going to be, come next summer. So I don't see a big hurry to that. There's nothing going on this fall. They've got it. It's on cruise control. So ball season, I know football's coming up and some soccer, but here shortly after school starts, everything will begin to coast down. Then we'll hit fall festival and Christmas parade, and it'll all kind of go to sleep till early next year. And then in January, February, of course, we'll be gearing up for, I believe, amphitheater shows. And most of that will be done and put in play long before the election. So the work of next year, in my opinion, the majority of the work, the planning and all that will be in place before we ever get to summer. So those things will be in play. And for me, today, I think as a quote-unquote Parks and Rec director, you really need someone that's for parks and maybe split that up and have somebody else just for the amphitheater. But again, it's going to be hard to hire somebody full-time for the amphitheater to work with Grace that's 15 shows a year, the day before, the day of the show, and the day after. So I'm kind of, let's just wait and see. I'd rather keep those salaried monies in the general fund is what I'm trying to tell you. And not necessarily saying out loud that I want to freeze all open positions, but I can, as a mayor, I kind of look at you and say, I do want, what we've got, I'd rather try to keep what we've got. Hadn't furloughed anybody, not planning to, but I just soon keep that money in the bank as needed, and we'll go from there. So that's kind of my position on that. I can see we've still got a red line number up there from 2.6. Is that right, Liz?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2.6 for request. I've had some conversations with the fire department and police department, since those are the two biggest budgets you wrestle with, bless you, of looking at what we need to do, and we'll get back to you. So I see what in my opinion, what needs to happen now as far as us establishing a budget is for Liz and Angela and I to sit down and work through this again, then get the department heads and probably call a special call board meeting, sit here, and I'll sit up in front of you and we'll go through the items that we see that we need to reduce to get in the budget. So that's kind of how I see the play of it right now. Is that satisfactory with you? Okay. So again, folks, you can help me out. We're not cutting the budget $2.6 million. We're cutting the request for the budget $2.6 million to get in the money. Okay, that's a better way of saying that. So help me say that in a better way so that more people understand that. I'd appreciate that. And some of that I know is going to be revenue neutral, and we'll get all that worked out. That won't be a lot, though. We'll have to work through that. But it's going to be a good year, because this year, this fall, we're going to come out of this stuff. And I'm looking forward to 2021, even though Mama tells me don't wish your life away. You know, it's been a rough year on a lot of people in a lot of ways. And, you know, city employees as well. But we haven't missed a paycheck and don't plan on missing a paycheck. So we appreciate all our employees and appreciate y'all coming tonight. And we'll come back at you with what our recommendation is for the whole schmear here shortly. So I'm thinking probably we might be able to get it in early one day next week, something. But and then gearing up for the 17th to make plans for that to come in to share everything else with you. Angela, you got anything else?
No, sir.
You sure? Liz? Board members, you got anything you want to add? All right, well, folks, thank y'all. I think we're done for the night. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing a